Have you ever wondered, where does your happiness truly come from? Not from money, fame, or circumstances, but from the thoughts you feed your mind each day? In a world constantly trying to control how you feel and think, what if you could take back the reins, not of the outside world, but of your own mind? And strangely enough, the answer doesn't come from a modern self-help book. It comes from an emperor who lived over 1,800 years ago, Marcus Aurelius. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius wrote that. And he didn't write it from a place of peace or luxury, but while leading a crumbling empire in the midst of war, rebellion, and plague. Now picture this. In the middle of today's chaos, endless emails, toxic social media, overwhelming schedules, what if you could remain calm and centered, not because the world has slowed down, but because you've grown stronger inside? That's the power of Stoicism, a philosophy that doesn't demand you control everything. It simply teaches you to master the one thing you truly can: yourself, your mind, your reactions, the values you choose to live by. Stoicism isn't just about resilience, gratitude, or a meaningful life. It's a toolkit for staying grounded while the world spins out of control. It's the art of finding stillness in the storm and happiness in the simplest of moments. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by life's noise, struggled to find a moment of peace, or even just wondered how ancient wisdom could be your secret weapon in the modern world, then you're exactly where you need to be, because this video isn't just about philosophy. It's about turning your exhausting mornings into launch pads for days filled with purpose, energy, and quiet confidence. It's about how you live, work, love, and stay unshakable. So stay with us, from start to finish. If you've made it this far, you're not like everyone else. You're someone who seeks depth, and that alone sets you on a path few dare to walk. Now, get ready, because we're about to dive into a concept that might sound unfamiliar, but is actually deeply practical. Ikigai, your reason to wake up each morning, excited and clear-eyed, ready to live with purpose. You remember where we left off, right? We were talking about Ikigai, your reason to jump out of bed every morning with clarity and purpose. Now it's time to begin asking yourself the right questions to discover it. Take a quiet moment and ask yourself, what am I truly passionate about? What makes your heart race with excitement just thinking about it? Then, what am I good at? What skills or strengths do others consistently recognize in you? What does the world need from me? What can you give that the world genuinely needs? And finally, what can I get paid for? It's okay if the answers don't appear immediately. This isn't a test. It's a journey. A journey of exploring the many layers of your life, your interests, and your values. As you explore, you begin to see patterns, intersections, and that's where your Ikigai starts to emerge. And no, this process isn't just a feel-good exercise or some vague self-help trend. It's the groundwork for a life rich with meaning. Because when your daily actions align with your deeper purpose, even the smallest tasks begin to matter. Your relationships grow stronger because you're truly present. Your creativity blooms because you're finally in sync with your passions. And happiness? It's no longer a fleeting guest. It becomes a familiar companion. So, next time you set your alarm, take a pause and ask yourself, what would make me excited to get up tomorrow? And remember, this isn't about flipping a switch overnight. It's a slow unfolding, a gentle, honest process. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, it's about showing up each day with discipline, integrity, and heart. Finding your Ikigai isn't just about personal joy. It's about contributing your thread to the larger fabric of humanity. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, believed our actions should be guided by intention. Not random, scattered motions, but deliberate steps, steered by our internal compass. And this philosophy doesn't just apply to how we live during the day, it begins the night before. Yes, you heard that right. The quality of your morning starts with your evening. It may sound simple, but the truth is profound. Of course, it's tempting to binge your favorite series late into the night, or scroll endlessly on social media until your eyes blur. But pause for a second. How is that shaping your tomorrow? Your brain needs time to wind down, to process the day's emotions and prepare for what's ahead. That's why having a solid pre-sleep routine is so important and often overlooked. Imagine this. What if you treated your evening with the same care and respect as an important project or a sacred ritual? It's not about strict rules or sucking the fun out of your downtime. It's about creating a space that supports your energy, your clarity, and your goals. For example, reducing screen time at least an hour before bed isn't about punishment. It's about giving your mind a chance to truly rest. And from that quiet place, we begin the next step. Building a smart evening routine that fuels deep sleep and launches your day with intention. In the previous part, we explored a simple yet powerful truth. The quality of your morning begins the night before. Now, let's dive deeper into how small habits can truly transform the way you start your day, with energy, clarity, and purpose. Picture this, a gentle signal to your mind that says, it's time to unwind. Whether it's dimming the lights, turning off your phone, or playing soft music, these small cues help ease your body into rest mode, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up feeling genuinely refreshed. Another game-changing practice is planning ahead for the next day. It doesn't have to be complex. Just jot down the top 3 priorities for tomorrow. This simple act serves as a mental roadmap, ensuring you rise with direction instead of being pulled into chaos the moment you wake up. This is exactly where the Stoic mindset shines. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and release what we can't. While we may not be able to dictate every detail of the day, we can absolutely shape how we begin it. And let's not overlook the power of deep breathing or a short meditation session before bed. This isn't just fluff, it's a practical, proven way to tell your body that it's time to rest. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and feel the stress melt away. This simple habit lowers your heart rate, soothes your nervous system, and sets you up for a night of truly restorative sleep. Think of it as hitting the reset button, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. In our fast-paced, always-on world, this might seem like a Herculean task, but it's not just doable, it's essential. Imagine the first moments of your morning untouched by the noise of emails, social media notifications, or breaking news alerts. It's just you, your thoughts, and the quiet magic of dawn. That's not just refreshing, it's empowering. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, believed deeply in living with intention and focus. He didn't let himself get distracted by the notifications of ancient Rome, and make no mistake, he had his fair share. Instead, he emphasized being present and devoting full attention to the task at hand. He understood a timeless truth. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. So, how do we bring that ancient wisdom into today's world? It starts by creating a digital-free morning space, a sanctuary of focus and calm. We've just touched on the importance of creating a tech-free morning space. Now let's dive deeper into why that truly matters. This isn't about cutting technology out of your life entirely. It's about choosing not to let it dictate how your day begins. It's tempting to reach for your phone the moment you open your eyes, instantly diving into messages, emails, or social media. But that simple act throws you straight into a reactive mindset, responding to the world before you've even connected with yourself. Instead, give yourself something invaluable, a peaceful beginning. Imagine dedicating the first hour of your day to activities that truly nourish your soul. Maybe you read a few pages of a book, meditate for a moment, write in a journal, or simply enjoy a quiet cup of coffee as sunlight gently filters through your window. That time isn't wasted. It's an investment in your well-being. By stepping away from distractions, you're not just avoiding stress. You're actually building a reservoir of peace and clarity that you can draw from all day long. Making the most of your mornings isn't about adding more tasks. It's about removing the noise that doesn't serve you. It's about putting first what truly matters before the demands of the day start pulling at your attention. And this is exactly where the Stoic mindset comes into play once again. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control. You may not be able to stop the flood of emails waiting for you, but you absolutely can decide how and when you engage with them. So, tomorrow, challenge yourself. Start the day on your terms. Resist the urge to plunge into the digital world. Instead, ground yourself in the present moment. Savor the stillness. The possibility that every morning holds. Each sunrise brings a new opportunity to live more intentionally, more peacefully, and more aligned with the person you aspire to become. Let your mornings become a daily declaration of that intention, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and a deep focus on what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. These thinkers weren't just preaching how to endure life with a stiff upper lip. They were advocating for a proactive, intentional way of living, where we take ownership of our choices and our mindset. Waking up consistently each morning is one such practice that embodies this philosophy. It's a quiet yet powerful way of saying, I'm in control of how I start my day. I don't leave it to chance or chaos. As Stoicism reminds us, big changes often begin with small, consistent actions. Waking up at the same time every day may seem like a minor habit, but it's actually a cornerstone, a foundational step toward building the life you want. And once that foundation is set, it's time to take the next step, shaping your morning routine with intention and clarity. Previously, we explored how waking up at the same time every day lays the groundwork for a purposeful, intentional life. Now, let's talk about what it really takes to stay consistent with that habit, especially when it gets hard. Because let's be honest, consistency is tough, and it's meant to be. In the early days, trying to wake up at the same time every morning can feel like an uphill climb. Your bed has never felt cozier, and that snooze button? It starts calling your name like an old friend. But this is where Stoic perseverance becomes your secret weapon. It's about reminding yourself, in those drowsy, tempting moments, why you're doing this. It's about focusing not just on the act of waking up early, but on who you're becoming through this simple, repeated discipline. You're choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. You're saying yes to the future you, instead of the fleeting ease of another 10 minutes in bed. Becoming a morning person isn't just about mornings. It's about embodying qualities like resilience, self-awareness, and focus that ripple through your entire day. It's an act of self-mastery. Each early morning is a vote for the kind of life you want to build, one aligned with your values, your goals, and your inner compass. So how do we make consistency our ally? It starts the night before. Set a clear intention. Remind yourself, why is this important to me? Is it to gain peaceful time for journaling or meditation? To exercise before the day begins? Or simply to create space before the world starts demanding your attention? Then, shape your environment to support this habit. That might mean going to bed a bit earlier, or leaving your curtains slightly open, so soft morning light can gently nudge you awake. Small tweaks, big impact. And when it feels hard, return to the Stoic mindset. You have the power to choose your actions. Each time you get up when you plan to, you're not just starting a new day, you're strengthening your commitment to yourself, to your growth, to a life lived on purpose. But as we talk about discipline and the beauty of structure, there's something essential we must not forget. We're human. And being human means we're wired for comfort, for quick rewards, for the path of least resistance. That's not a flaw. It's part of our beautifully complex nature. And understanding that, it's the first step toward working with your nature, not against it. Now, let's take this honesty and channel it, Stoic style, into the next part of the journey. Earlier, we talked about building consistency and waking up with intention. But let's be real. Even with the strongest resolve, there are days when things just don't go as planned. And that's where another core Stoic principle comes in: self-compassion. Stoicism isn't only about discipline and resilience. It also teaches us to approach ourselves with patience and understanding. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal reflections, often reminded himself to be gentle when he fell short of his own expectations. He knew that beating yourself up over every mistake isn't the path to growth. Instead, he believed in acknowledging your missteps, learning from them, and then letting them go. And this mindset is absolutely essential when you're trying to build a new morning routine, or any new habit for that matter. The truth is, those first few days, or even weeks, can be rough. Your alarm rings, and suddenly the bed feels warmer than ever. The pillow, irresistible. And some days, despite your best intentions, you'll stay under the covers. But here's the question. What do you do next? Do you fall into a cycle of guilt and self-criticism? Or do you pause, breathe, and offer yourself a moment of grace? Because real strength lies not in being perfect, but in being willing to try again. Forgiveness, patience, and compassion toward ourselves aren't signs of weakness. In fact, they reflect wisdom. They signal that you're committed to the journey, not just the result. You're in it for the long run, prepared to navigate the setbacks with grace. Stoic self-compassion means recognizing your human nature and working with it. It's about encouraging yourself forward, not with punishment, but with purpose. And let's be clear, this isn't about making excuses or lowering your standards. It's about recognizing that growth is messy. It's full of curves, detours, and unexpected stumbles. Each new day will present new challenges and new chances. And it's in that daily renewal that we discover our true resilience. So as you continue building your morning habits, remember to go easy on yourself. Celebrate the little wins. Learn from the missteps. Show up each day with a fresh heart, ready to try again. Because ultimately, this journey isn't just about becoming a morning person. It's about building a mindset. One that faces life's obstacles with a steady mix of determination and compassion. Even something as small as placing your alarm clock across the room becomes meaningful. It's not just a tactic to keep you from snoozing. It's a declaration, a decision to rise, to resist comfort, and to begin the day with intention. And as we'll see next, the power of small actions, like making your bed, carries more weight than you might think. Previously, we explored how even the smallest actions, like placing your alarm clock across the room, can carry deep meaning. Now let's take that idea a step further with one deceptively simple but powerful habit: making your bed. It might seem unnecessary, especially when you're the only one who's going to see it. But here's the truth. This act is about far more than just smoothing out sheets or fluffing pillows. It's a quiet ritual of self-respect, a way of telling yourself that your space and how you interact with it matters. When you make your bed, you're not just tidying up. You're creating a physical reflection of the order, care, and intentionality you're striving to build within yourself. It's a symbolic gesture, a small win at the very start of your day. And as Marcus Aurelius might say, these small victories are the true building blocks of a disciplined life. These everyday decisions, though easy to overlook, have a cumulative power. Each time you choose to follow through on them, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Someone who values discipline, structure, and inner harmony. You're not waiting for the big moment to prove your strength. You're practicing it in the quiet, unglamorous moments, the ones that shape your character more than you think. But why focus on these tiny acts? Because they are accessible to everyone. We can't always control the big events, the job loss, the unexpected call, the life changes that blindside us. But we can control how we begin our day, how we treat our environment, and how we show up for ourselves in those first quiet moments. This is Stoicism in motion, placing your energy where it counts, in the realm of what you can influence, and letting go of what you can't. More importantly, these practices aren't about chasing perfection or discipline for its own sake. They're about preparing your mind and body for life's larger battles. If you can consistently show up for the small commitments, like making your bed or resisting the snooze button, you're building the mental muscle to uphold your values when it truly matters. You're training yourself to stay grounded under pressure, to follow through when things get hard, and to face the unexpected with calm resolve. These are the traits that define the Stoic ideal: self-mastery, clarity, and unshakable focus. So, where do you start? Start small. Look around your everyday life and spot the moments, however minor, where you can choose order, presence, and intention. Because it's in these quiet moments, in the stillness of the morning, where your character is quietly and powerfully forged. And here's something else to consider. While these habits often begin as personal, there's incredible strength in not going it alone. Sharing your goals with someone who supports you and holds you accountable, can dramatically increase your chances of success. Why? Because it turns your quiet mission into a shared journey, one that's less daunting, more motivating, and just a little more joyful. So, who's your ally in growth? Let's dive into one of the most underrated but powerful tools on your journey toward intentional living: the accountability partner. Imagine this. It's early morning, and the warmth of your bed feels like the most comforting place on earth. The idea of getting up to journal, meditate, or exercise feel far away. But then you remember, someone's counting on you. Not to judge, not to pressure, but to support. They're waking up too. They're trying too. Suddenly, you're not alone in the effort, and that changes everything. An accountability partner is more than just someone who checks whether you ticked a box. They're the person who reminds you why you started, encourages you when progress feels slow, and celebrates even the tiniest of victories alongside you. It's a relationship built on mutual respect, shared goals, and the quiet understanding that we're all striving, day by day, to become better versions of ourselves. And this idea, it's not new. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, all emphasize the importance of community and connection in the pursuit of virtue. They understood that self-mastery isn't forged in isolation. Wisdom is meant to be shared. Growth is meant to be supported. And knowing you're not alone in your struggles, that's what gives strength during the hard times. In today's world, having an accountability partner is a beautiful nod to this timeless wisdom. Yes, the path to self-discipline is deeply personal, but that doesn't mean it has to be lonely. Even more, a good partner can help you spot blind spots in your routines that you might never notice on your own. They can offer new perspectives, practical advice, or even just a moment of humor when the journey gets heavy. This isn't just about reminders or checklists. It's about meaningful conversations. What's working for you this week? What's not? How can we adjust together? So how do you find the right accountability partner? Look for someone who's also committed to growth. Someone who's not perfect, but intentional. This could be a close friend, a sibling, a colleague, or even someone in an online community you trust. The key is honesty, trust, and shared values. Once you've found that person, be clear with each other. What goals are you working toward? How often will you check in? Daily, weekly? What kind of support do you need? Encouragement, advice, or just someone to listen when it gets tough? And remember, this isn't just about discipline. It's about connection. It's about building a space where vulnerability is welcome, where setbacks are understood, and where every step forward is something to be celebrated. Together. When two people commit to walking the path of growth side by side, they don't just increase their chances of success. They create a bond rooted in purpose, presence, and shared resilience. Now, with the foundation of discipline and support in place, we're ready to deepen the mindset even further. Because if Stoicism has one more lesson for us, it's this. Nothing focuses the mind like the reflection on mortality. Previously, we explored the power of discipline and support, the solid bedrock that Stoicism encourages us to build our lives upon. But now, with that foundation laid, we're ready to go even deeper into the Stoic mindset. Because there's one more lesson the Stoics urge us never to forget. One that sharpens our focus like nothing else. The reflection on mortality. Yes, it's a sobering thought at first, but within it lies something profoundly energizing. Memento mori. Remember, you must die. This ancient Stoic principle isn't about fear or sadness. It's a powerful call to action, a nudge to live each day with deliberate purpose and deep intention. Think about it. If we truly grasp that our time is limited, would we still waste hours scrolling aimlessly, or stressing over things that won't matter in a year, or even a week? Or would we choose instead to engage more meaningfully with the life we've been given? Every morning when our eyes first open, we're granted a rare and precious gift, another chance, a clean slate, a new opportunity to step into the day not on autopilot, but with clarity and intention, to show up for our lives, not just to exist, but to contribute, to grow, and to build something that matters. That's the essence of this Stoic reflection. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and perhaps Stoicism's most well-known voice, often wrote in his meditations about how brief and fragile life is. But he didn't write these thoughts to depress himself. Quite the opposite. For him, reflecting on death was a source of clarity, even liberation. It freed him from distractions, from vanity, from the petty worries that plague so many of us. Why obsess over small annoyances, he reasoned, when life is already too short? By remembering that our time is finite, Marcus was able to focus on what truly mattered, fulfilling his duties, practicing virtue, and being a better human being. This wasn't just a philosophy. It was a compass that helped him navigate life with courage, compassion, and perspective. And it can do the same for us. When we integrate this mindset into our morning routines, we change how we see each day. It's no longer just another day. It's a gift. One that's not guaranteed. One that so many never get to see. Realizing this helps us shift our focus. Instead of rushing through our to-do lists or getting lost in busyness, we begin to ask deeper questions. What really matters today? Who do I want to be in this moment? What legacy am I building, brick by brick, with my actions? This daily reminder to remember death doesn't push us into gloom. It pushes us into gratitude. It nudges us to live fully, to love sincerely, and to pour ourselves into relationships and pursuits that have real meaning. It helps us hold our goals more firmly and take life's small setbacks less seriously. After all, when you know the clock is ticking, you're less likely to waste time on things that drain you. In fact, this practice builds resilience. When we keep the bigger picture in view, we become harder to shake. Daily frustrations, minor delays, temporary failures, they shrink in significance, because we know that what matters most is not how fast we go, but how true we are to the path we've chosen. So how do we begin? It's simple, but powerful. Start with one small moment of reflection each morning, before diving into emails, before the coffee, before the rush. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, would I be proud of how I'm about to spend it? That one question has the power to realign your priorities in an instant. It's not about living in fear or anxiety. It's about waking up to the present moment and to the tremendous opportunity it offers. See the day ahead as a blank canvas. You're holding the brush. What will you paint today? Will your choices today reflect your values? Will they bring you closer to the kind of person you want to be? This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional, being awake. And when you approach your life this way, you begin to notice something. The ordinary starts to feel extraordinary. The small becomes sacred, and even the hard moments carry meaning. In the end, Stoicism doesn't just prepare us for death. It teaches us how to live, fully, wisely, and with heart. So, as we've seen, remembering death isn't about fixating on the end. It's about sharpening our focus on now, on how we live each day with clarity, purpose, and presence. It's a powerful reminder to stop drifting and start choosing. And once we begin to see each morning as a gift, we start showing up differently. We live with more depth, more alignment, and more gratitude. This, at its heart, is the essence of living stoically, using the awareness of our limited time not as a source of fear, but as fuel to craft a life of meaning and intention, a life that reflects our highest values and, in the end, leaves behind a legacy that matters. But how do we maintain that sense of clarity and resilience, especially when life is so unpredictable? That's where another profound Stoic practice comes in, one that might seem counterintuitive at first. While many modern philosophies encourage us to think positive or visualize success as a way to manifest happiness, the Stoics offer something different, something deeper, something far more grounding. It's called negative visualization. Now, don't let the name throw you off. It's not about pessimism. It's not about expecting the worst. Instead, it's a powerful mental exercise designed to build resilience, emotional readiness, and a deeper appreciation for the present. So, what exactly is it? At its core, negative visualization is the intentional act of imagining potential challenges, setbacks, or even losses before they happen. You might think about small inconveniences, like missing your train or spilling coffee on your shirt. Or you could go deeper, considering heavier possibilities like losing a job, facing illness, or even saying goodbye to someone you love. It might sound heavy, but here's the thing. The point isn't to scare yourself. The goal is to prepare, to mentally rehearse how you would respond if those moments came. It's like a form of emotional strength training. By visualizing these scenarios, you're not inviting them in. You're simply preparing your mind and heart to remain steady if life takes an unexpected turn. Think of it like rehearsing for a role in a play. If the scene ever happens in real life, you won't be paralyzed. You'll have already walked through it in your mind. You'll know where your strength lies, how to breathe through the discomfort, and how to move forward with grace. The great Stoic thinkers, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, they all practiced this. They understood that almost everything outside of us is temporary and fragile. But what stays in our control is our response, our attitude, our integrity. And that's where our power truly lies. By regularly practicing negative visualization, we develop a kind of inner steadiness. We're no longer blindsided by life's twists and turns. Instead, we're emotionally agile, able to pivot, to endure, and to keep showing up with purpose. You might wonder, doesn't this make life feel heavier? Actually, no. Paradoxically, it does the opposite. This practice deepens our appreciation for what we have right now. When you imagine, even for a few moments, what life would be like without something you love, a relationship, your health, your job, you return to the present with fresh eyes. Suddenly, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The familiar feels like a gift. It's not about living in fear of losing what you have. It's about allowing that awareness to elevate your gratitude, to help you cherish, not cling. So how do we bring this into our daily lives? Start small. Each morning, take a quiet moment to reflect on a few things that could go wrong. Not to dwell, but to prepare. Maybe traffic will make you late. Maybe a meeting won't go your way. Maybe someone you love will need your patience. Picture how you'd respond, not react, with calm, clarity, and courage. Ask yourself, what strength would I need to draw on? What could this teach me? How could I grow through this? Then, just as important, let it go. Don't carry the weight of the scenarios with you. Instead, carry the readiness. Carry the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've already mentally walked through the fire, and you're still standing. And to close your day with the same sense of grounded presence, try pairing this practice with gratitude. Gratitude is the perfect counterbalance to negative visualization. If the morning is for preparing your mind, then the evening is for nurturing your heart. And one of the most effective, quietly transformative tools? A gratitude journal. It doesn't have to be elaborate, just a few minutes at night to jot down 3 things you're thankful for. Maybe it's a conversation, a warm meal, a peaceful moment. Or maybe it's something that went wrong, but taught you something valuable. Over time, this simple ritual rewires your mind. You begin to notice more good. You savor the small wins. And even on tough days, you're reminded that there's still something to be grateful for. So to live stoically is not to harden ourselves or expect the worst. It's to prepare, to appreciate, and to participate fully in life as it is. Messy, beautiful, uncertain, precious. Each morning we wake up is a chance to reflect, to prepare, and to begin again, with purpose and perspective. So, as we've seen, ending the day with gratitude is just as powerful as starting it with intention. While the morning sets the tone, the evening helps us reflect, recharge, and reset. This final daily ritual grounds us. It reminds us, even after the most chaotic of days, that there is still beauty, still goodness, and still so much to be thankful for. And the beauty of this practice, gratitude doesn't have to come from grand, life-changing events. In fact, it often emerges in the smallest, quietest moments. Maybe it's the unexpected smile from a stranger when you held the door open, or the golden glow of the sunset pouring through your window. Perhaps it's the satisfaction of finally finishing that task you'd been putting off, or simply the comfort of knowing your bed is there, warm, soft, waiting to welcome you after a long, demanding day. These seemingly ordinary experiences become extraordinary the moment we pause to appreciate them. When we sit down at the end of the day, pen in hand, and intentionally write down even just a few of these moments, something powerful happens. Our focus begins to shift from what we didn't do, didn't get, or still wish for, to what is, what we already have, what's already good. And that shift is profound. It's a practice that fits seamlessly into the Stoic worldview, one that teaches us to concentrate on what lies within our control rather than wasting energy on what doesn't. Gratitude is, at its core, a focus on now, on presence, on sufficiency. By reflecting on the blessings we already possess, we release ourselves from the grip of endless wanting. We put aside the heavy cloak of frustration or disappointment and instead slip into something lighter: acceptance, peace, and even joy. And what happens when we go to bed with this mindset? Our sleep becomes deeper, more peaceful. No longer haunted by unmet expectations or racing thoughts, our minds are soothed by the calm recognition of life's goodness. And this emotional clarity carries into the next day. We wake up not groaning at the sound of the alarm, but with a quiet anticipation. What might I notice today? What new gifts will this day bring? Gratitude has a ripple effect. It doesn't just stay locked within the pages of our journal. It spills out into our thoughts, our actions, our relationships. When we learn to notice and appreciate the good in our own lives, we also begin to see and acknowledge the good in others. We become more patient, more generous with praise, more open in our appreciation. A kind word, a thank you, a compliment freely given. These small acts can transform the people around us, because appreciation, like a flame, spreads warmth wherever it goes. And it doesn't stop there. Gratitude deepens our connection to the world itself. The rustling of leaves on a breezy afternoon, the sound of laughter echoing down the street, the smell of coffee in the morning. These are moments many of us miss because we're rushing, distracted, or too focused on what's missing. But when we've trained ourselves through this nightly ritual to look for the good, we become more attuned to life's quiet gifts. We begin to see that wonder is all around us, not in rare, dramatic moments, but in the everyday. So, as we reflect on all the tools and strategies we've explored throughout this Stoic-inspired journey, don't overlook this final, gentle, yet powerful practice. Ending your day with gratitude is more than a nice habit. It's a conscious choice, a declaration that says, no matter what this day held, I will choose to find something good in it. That choice? It shapes not just how you sleep, but how you live. Because ultimately, Stoicism is not about suppressing emotion or walking through life like a stone. It's about cultivating clarity, purpose, and resilience. It's about learning to live with virtue, to be wise, courageous, just, and self-disciplined. And when we pair that philosophy with a heart full of appreciation, we unlock something truly extraordinary. This practice doesn't promise perfect days, but it does promise a more grounded, grateful, and resilient version of you. And that's what this whole journey has been about. From crafting mindful mornings to navigating challenges with strength, from reflecting on mortality to ending our days with gratitude. Each practice we've shared is not just a standalone habit. It's part of a deeper philosophy, one that invites us to live more consciously, more deliberately, and with a fuller heart. So, if this journey has resonated with you, and you're ready to explore even further, we've created a playlist filled with powerful Stoic lessons, bite-sized, accessible, and rich with insight. You can find it right here on the screen. Dive in whenever you're ready. And if this video inspired you in any way, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing your reflections, your experiences, and how these ideas are showing up in your life. Let's continue walking this path together. Here's to mornings filled with clarity, days lived with intention, and nights wrapped in gratitude. Thank you for being part of the Stoic Journal community. See you soon.